In the circulating footage, Ukrainian troops managed to secure several Russian personnel who were hiding. Using close-quarter battle tactics, Ukrainian special forces successfully secured areas previously controlled by Russian troops. This method is also used to ensure that any captured territory is truly secure and under control, especially in areas like Donetsk. In this approach, Ukrainian special forces locate an enemy soldier and secure him to gather further information. One trench, two countries, and only one will emerge victorious. On the front lines of the battle, 7 Ukrainian forces moved stealthily to encircle a Russian position hidden within a network of trenches. But they didn't come alone. From behind, battle tanks stood ready to provide fire support, while reconnaissance drones kept watch on every enemy movement from the air. The trapped Russian forces now faced threats from all directions. There was nowhere to hide, and every step they took was immediately detectable. How did this encirclement unfold? And did the Russian forces manage to escape the trap the Ukrainians had set? Let's take a look at the footage. In the first video, we see a frontline operation where Ukrainian Special Forces personnel move to encircle a Russian position within a network of trenches. In this footage, several Ukrainian personnel trained for such operations are seen moving cautiously and in a coordinated manner. Taking advantage of the surrounding terrain, they gradually approach the Russian trenches while continuously monitoring the situation ahead. Aerial surveillance also helps provide a real-time picture of the terrain, allowing for more calculated movements. The footage shows how Ukrainian units attempt to narrow the space for Russian troops within the trench sector. Operations like this demonstrate the importance of coordination between personnel on the ground and aerial reconnaissance support, especially when facing pre-prepared defensive positions. As they approached the target, the situation began to grow increasingly tense. Ukrainian personnel were now very close to the Russian positions, separated only by a few trenches and the protection of the surrounding terrain. At this point, every step had to be taken with extreme caution. The slightest movement could potentially reveal their position. Therefore, the Ukrainian personnel were seen maintaining their formation while continuously observing activity within the Russian trench network. What made the situation even more intriguing was that the Russian forces seemed unaware of how close the Ukrainians were. Meanwhile, drones were continuously monitoring the battle area and providing information on conditions around the trenches. The question now was, would Ukrainian forces immediately move to secure the sector, or would they wait for the right moment before resuming operations? Now we move to a different sector. While the previous operation took place in an open trench network, this time the terrain was much more challenging. In the dense forest, Ukrainian troops discovered a covert path that Russian troops were suspected of using to hide and reposition undetected. The footage shows the Ukrainian unit beginning to employ close quarters tactics (CQB) to approach the area. Interestingly, they moved with a high degree of confidence, as if they already knew the exact location of their target. The dense trees and obscured terrain severely limited visibility. However, instead of hesitating, the Ukrainian personnel steadily narrowed the operational area from several directions. Each team member appeared to understand their respective tasks, as the path to the covert location slowly began to be established. The closer they moved, the clearer it became that this was no ordinary patrol. Something within the area was the primary focus of the operation, and from the way they took up their positions, it was apparent that the target had been under surveillance for some time. The question now arises, what exactly was inside that covert path? And why did the Ukrainian forces look so confident as they approached? The next few seconds began to provide the answer. As the encirclement tightened, the space around the location slowly began to close, making the situation inside the hiding area increasingly uncertain. After successfully establishing themselves around the forest area, the Ukrainian units no longer seemed to move randomly. Every step they took seemed to have a very clear purpose. Some personnel took over, while others continued to narrow the area around the hiding path. From the drone's perspective, their movement pattern resembled a well-prepared operation. There was no hasty movement. There was no sign of hesitation. On the contrary, the Ukrainian forces appeared to act as if they already knew what lay ahead. What made the situation even more intriguing was that their focus wasn't on the entire forest area. All attention was focused on a single point, a protected area suspected of being the hiding place of Russian troops. Slowly but surely, the security circle began to narrow. The possible exit routes from the area were gradually being monitored. From above, drones kept a close eye on every corner of the location, while personnel on the ground maintained pressure to ensure no movement went unnoticed. At this point, the atmosphere turned into a game of patience. The Ukrainian forces appeared in no hurry to move in. Instead, they seemed to be waiting for the right moment, as if ensuring the entire area was under control before making their next move. And this is what makes this footage so compelling to watch, because when a special unit moves with such confidence, approaching a target without the slightest hesitation, there's usually information the camera doesn't see, something that makes them confident that the target they're looking for is exactly where they think they are. The question now is, was that suspicion correct? Or was there another surprise waiting within the hiding area? Moments later, the situation began to move in a direction that no longer left much room for uncertainty. Constantinofka was once again in the spotlight. Amidst the sounds of battle lingering in the distance, a military operation was underway in one of the most sensitive sectors of the front line. Reconnaissance drones circled overhead, while ground units cautiously moved toward positions that had been under surveillance for hours. No one knew for sure how this situation would end, but one thing was clear. Both sides understood that this sector held strategic value that could not be ignored, and what was captured moments later showed how quickly the situation in Constantinofka could change. From the drone's perspective, a Russian armored vehicle can be seen still moving in the middle of the battle area. However, what makes this footage different is that the vehicle has been repeatedly targeted by Ukrainian drones. Several times, the drones approached the target and struck the vehicle's area, but the armor continued to advance. This situation demonstrates the vehicle's robust protection and demonstrates the efforts of its crew to stay out of the danger zone. Each time the vehicle was still able to move, a new question arose. How much longer could the armor hold out? Would it make it to a safer area, or would it lose its ability to continue its journey? Then came the decisive moment. After a series of attacks and prolonged surveillance, the armored vehicle finally ceased operation. Smoke began to appear from the vehicle's area, indicating that it was no longer capable of continuing its mission on the battlefield. In the Constantinovka sector, a seemingly ordinary building suddenly became the focus of attention for Ukrainian surveillance drones. From the air, activity could be seen appearing and disappearing in the area. Whenever movement was detected around the building, the drone immediately directed its attention to the same location, indicating that it was suspected to play a crucial role in frontline operations. As time passed, pressure on the position steadily increased. The initially quiet building slowly became a point of constant aerial surveillance, with any developments in the area receiving immediate attention. What makes this footage so compelling is one major question. Why was this building so consistently the focus of surveillance? Was it a key position being secured, or was there some other activity making this location so frequently targeted? What is clear is that the next few minutes demonstrate how a single building in Constantinovka could become the focus of attention in an ongoing battlefield operation. These are some of the footage showing how operations in various frontline sectors continue to unfold with varying dynamics, from trench sieges and CQB operations in forested areas, to drone surveillance and attacks on various strategic positions. All of this footage demonstrates how reconnaissance technology and inter-unit coordination have become crucial parts of modern military operations. However, it's important to remember that battlefield situations can change very quickly. What you see today may not necessarily reflect what will happen in the next few hours or days. That's why every development on the front lines is always fascinating to follow. And most interestingly, there are still a number of other footages we haven't discussed. Some of them show equally tense operations in different sectors, with far more complex tactics and situations. So, which footage do you think was the most interesting in this video? Leave your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching and supporting this channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate the notification bell to stay updated on the latest discussions about military technology developments, battlefield strategies, and other interesting events. See you in the next video.